Well, hey there, and welcome to yet another one of my cheesy YouTube videos. This video, I gotta figure out what's wrong with the refrigerator on my Travco motorhome. The check light keeps coming on. This is telling me it is having a problem running on propane. I got the shore power disconnected right now, so it is trying to run off propane, but it's not. As long as you're hooked up, your 110's hooked up to power, it'll run on 110. But as soon as that power is disconnected, it'll automatically switch to propane. And that's where I'm having a problem. It gets good and cold on 110. Let's see if we can figure it out. Okay, the way the thing works, behind this cover is a burner, an igniter, and a switch that is operated by heat. Back here is the burner. It's nothing more than a tube. Gas comes out of this valve here and actually jumps across and goes through this tube, this white thing, and this is the igniter. This metal piece coming off igniter is 3/16 to 1/4 inch off of the burner. It drops an arc across to the burner. This gray wire energizes the igniter. This white box is basically the coil to create the spark for the igniter. Up the burner tube, there are a couple wires going in. This is a 110 volt electric heater element goes up inside there. Its wires are black, and at least in my case, and they go to the board here. This is the control board. There are two fuses on the control board. Like I said, this gray wire is the spark plug wire, basically, if it was a car. This yellow wire comes from the electric solenoid that turns the gas on for the burner. When the burner is energized, so is the coil. This black wire goes to a ground block right here. This ground block has several grounds, basically all the chassis grounds throughout the system. The controls on these refrigerators are 12 volt. Even if they're running on 110, the controls are 12 volt. And they pick up their power somewhere in the motorhome, not from the 110 volt side. So if your lights are off on your dash above your refrigerator, check your 12 volt source. This block right here is the 12 volt tying into the refrigerator. You've got, in my case, this blue wire should be hot. The green wire should be ground. Ties into this box, and the hot comes out and it goes to this post right here. So that energizes 12 volts to the control board. The ground, it ties to the ground junction right here. And what I've had originally, it was working intermittently, which I guess it still is, and it's just giving me a problem. It needs to be more dependable, so possibly it's a bad ground. First off, we're going to check this coil. You can check the voltage between this upper positive terminal, which in this case is yellow wire, and the lower negative terminal, which is the black wire. It should be really close to the supply voltage to the panel. My poor kitty, he's begging me for cat food. I put cat food in my office. It's the exact same thing as in the house, but to him it's very special. Too bad I'm out right now. So what we need to do, and this is called a reigniter. I'm pulling the wire off. I'm disconnecting 12 volts to the panel. That's just like turning a switch off inside. I'm just going to give it a second, which I don't know that I need to give it a second. Now I'm going to plug it back in, and with this gray wire disconnected, we should hear tick, 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 tick coming out of this coil. And that's it, throwing a spark, trying to throw a spark to ignite it. You ready? Let's hook it up. Give it a second. It's not ticking away. Ooh, it just did then. See that? It actually jumped and hit me. But it should be going tick, 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 not randomly ticking. I'm thinking that my problem is corrosion. But I'm thinking we got a corrosion problem preventing this thing from working like it's supposed to. So let me unhook my 12 volt again. And I can smell gas. So I'm going to do my best to unhook all the wires from it, clean them. They're really teeny spade connectors, so they're kind of hard to clean. I'm going to take that ground junction block apart and clean all the terminals. Make sure my ground to the igniter assembly is good and clean. So that's step one. Then we'll try to test the igniter again. Okay, I've taken all these wires off. I cleaned them. I took a really small straight screwdriver, wrapped it in 400 grit sandpaper, and I reached up inside here and I cleaned both these areas. Yeah, that one still rocks a little bit. It's on there though. And I cleaned these wires, and I'm going to hook my 12 volt back up and listen. Solenoid pulled in. It's ticking. Hear it? Tick, 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 tick. Now I can smell gas. If your solenoid's pulled in, put a metal screwdriver to it. It's magnetic. It'll stick. So that's working. Okay, I've checked my coil a few times in a row. It still works. Make sure it's got a good solid connection. Not as solid as I wish, but I'm gonna hit 12 volts back to it and it should light. Wow. Why did it do that? It lit, see it? Didn't light the first time, but it's lit. We're going to check it about 10 times. Okay, so my system's working, and I'm thinking it's going to work pretty good now. Just got a few comments. From what I understand, that reigniter is no longer available. That little white box. So if you can run across one, get it. Especially since now you know how you can test it to make sure it's good. There's two systems that I read about, and there may be more, but I want to talk about these two systems and how they're different from each other. On the system we just looked at, I'll call that the old system. The igniter, it lights the flame. The tip to the igniter has to be in the flame. When it's properly where it belongs, it'll glow orange on the tip. What that does is it sends like so many millivolts to the reigniter, and it tells it to stop trying to ignite so that the spark will stop. And then if the flame were to burn out, the tip cools really fast and tells it to start sending a spark again, and that way it relights the flame. That system also has what they call thermocouple. It's another device that is also in the flame, and what it does, it monitors that it's actually got a flame, and if the flame goes out for an extended period of time, from what I understand, it'll shut the system down. So it's kind of like a timer. The other system uses an integrated reigniter. Its reigniter is built into the control board. It also, along with lighting the flame and monitoring and relighting the flame, if it senses the flame went out, it'll also time out and shut the system down if the flame does not relight. So I just wanted to let you know those two different systems. And you can tell the difference by the little white box being there, and also having that extra thermocouple. It's right there at the burner and the igniter. And If you don't have that extra thermocouple and that white box ain't there, you've got the newer system. So I just wanted to distinguish those two. I hope this video helped you. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. And remember, if you love life and learning new things, go aimless.com.